This is the plaintiff, Eileen O'Prey. She says her former landlords are withholding some of her security for dirty rugs when they were soiled during Hurricane Sandy. It's just unbelievable these two would stoop so low and take advantage of a devastating storm by socking it to her. Well, they don't know who they're dealing with because she's not about to let them steal her hard-earned money and is suing the louses for the $658.84 she's still owed. These are the defendants, Paul and Helmut Calabrese. Helmut says the plaintiff tries to portray herself as one way, but in the 27 years they've been renting apartments, she is by far the filthiest. Seriously, the place needed to be condemned. Bacteria in the refrigerator, cat feces and cat litter caking the walls, and urine and vomit everywhere. The woman didn't deserve a penny back because they spent a week cleaning the place. They were accused of sticking it to a tenant. The defendants have filed a countersuit for $1,783.16 for additional cleaning expenses.
All parties, please raise your right hands. Be seated. Come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas. Eileen O'Prey?
Yes.
You are suing Paul Calabrese and Helmut Calabrese for $658.84, the balance that they withheld on your security deposit. They have a counterclaim against you for $1,783.16 for additional damages that you'd like to claim now. Tell me what happened here.
What happened was we live in Seaside. It's between the ocean and the bay. And after the storm, we all had to leave.
The storm being Hurricane Sandy?
Yes.
Okay.
We left. I wasn't allowed back into the apartment until November 10th. We were bussed in just to get 2 suitcases worth of things. Then, one thing is when I moved in and my friend came over, Susan, the first thing she said was, they could at least clean the carpets before you moved in. It was a hole in the wall. So anyway.
Did you take pictures?
Not when I moved in. I didn't think of it.
Even though she pointed it out?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I just shampooed. It was $750. Dirt cheap. It's all I could afford.
To shampoo?
No, the rent.
Oh. I was going to say, that's not cheap. Okay. Yeah. All right. So can we get to, you decide you're going to move out, and why are you moving out?
I'm afraid of the storm.
Okay.
I couldn't go back there. The place was filled with mold and sand, and Seaside's a mess.
Okay.
So I had to throw everything out. My bed, clothes, everything.
Okay. Do you know, okay, but so let's get to your lawsuit.
The lawsuit is because of the storm, that carpet had to be replaced anyway. I didn't even think of that. We cleaned the apartment as best we could. There was no running water when we moved out.
Okay. Now you withheld 600 and wait, how much did you withhold from the original security deposit?
We withheld $658.84.
Why?
It was impossible to shampoo this carpet. It was impregnated with cat urine.
Cat urine?
Yes,
okay.
cat
Did
urine.
she have cats?
She had at least one cat, but I don't know how many cats in total.
How many cats did you have?
One.
Okay. When had those carpets been installed?
They were actually installed approximately 3 years before she had moved in. They were about 3 years old.
Do you have a picture of the original carpeting?
No,
Did you take pictures when you switched tenants?
I took pictures of the carpet once it was with the stains.
Okay. Do you have pictures from when you switched tenants? Because
when we rented her.
Is that a yes or no?
When she signed the lease, she said, the lease says the department was clean and good condition and she inspected everything.
Okay. May I see the lease? And you still should take pictures.
Here.
Every time a tenant switches. What kind of damage did the storm do to the carpet?
Well, let's clarify one thing. The water in our buildings never reached our buildings because we were in an elevated part of the island. So we had no water damage whatsoever. There was some wind damage outside of the building to the vinyl, but that was it.
Okay. Do you have was there water intrusion from the storm on the carpet?
Susan.
Okay.
People were in and out of
That's not my question. Was there water intrusion from the storm?
The clothes in my dresser were sopping wet.
No, on the carpet. Was there damage to the carpet?
I don't know.
Well, that's what you testified. You said after Hurricane Sandy they had to replace this anyway, so I'm asking you.
I don't know if there was water on the carpet,
Okay.
but the streets were full of mud and debris and people in and out of my
Okay,
apartment.
So
yes,
you feel
they were
that it got
destroyed by the
dirtier
storm.
and it wasn't your fault?
Right. I wouldn't say it was dirty to begin
Okay, but you're saying it was a cat urine problem.
Yes, it was a
Because there's
cat.
a very unmistakable. I've had cats. I'm a cat lover,
Well-
and there's a very unmistakable scent to the cat urine.
I want you
What
to,
you got there?
Well, what I have here is basically her rug. You can smell the urine. You can see the saturation of the urine as well. And I'm glad that I
Is it
saved
just
her.
urine?
Well, it's probably feces as well. But, you know, I didn't bring the feces along. But the important part here is that
Foo-foo
the
never went
cat
out.
urine, because the problem is, the storm did not affect our
Can you
buildings.
stop? Go ahead.
Our buildings were not affected by the storm. Because, Jesus loves me and he takes care of me. I didn't get any water.
Oh, well, Jesus loves the people who were affected by the storm too, I hope.
Yeah.
I mean, that's...
Well, it's the
What, did she have to evacuate? Was she in an evacuation zone? Like,
everyone was evacuated from the whole town for like 3 months. They turned off the electric, the gas. No one was allowed in. So this is the bedroom rug. And because, of the cats that she has, or if it's one cat, I'm not really sure.
Oh, we're good. We're good. Roll it up.
All right, roll back.
Roll it up. Roll
Don't
it
talk
up.
to
Foo-foo never went out.
Poo-poo went poo-poo all over the carpet, sweetheart. And there's no debating that.
He has.
Listen to me. He has what? He peed all over the carpet.
He
and
feeds
other
all
stuff.
these stray cats. He leaves food out on the other side under this truck.
Who
While I was
does?
away. Paul.
This is urine on your carpet in your
How do I
bedroom. What
know?
does
He
that
didn't
have
let
to do?
these cats in my apartment while this storm was going on because Chris called me up and said, "You better get your cat out of that apartment. Paul is going to get caught sneaking into Seaside to feed it." And I was like, "I have my cat with me. I took my cat with the storm."
What are you saying? Now that I smelled the urine, it's not your urine? It's some other
not
cat. That's not my
poo-poo.
cat that was in my bedroom. It's other cats that were in my
No.
That's what you're testifying to now?
No.
The landlord let other cats to pee all over the rug inside of your bedroom?
I just can't believe that's foo-foo.
Oh, can I just tell you, I can't believe I had to get on one knee and smell it.
Okay.
And you didn't just fess up. You know if your cat is peeing all over your rug. I mean, you should have a sense of smell. Let me see the pictures. You are now suing for $837 in a cleaning fee. What's that about?
okay, here, this is a whole set of pictures that I took before I cleaned the apartment.
Who cleaned the apartment in the end? You?
Me and my mom cleaned the apartment.
What is that?
That's a stain on the carpet from cat feces.
Were you guys there?
Susan.
Okay.
Susan is a witness.
Susan, come on up, because I want to hear what you've got to say about that.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. So is it possible that you can have a cat that doesn't damage an apartment? What do you think?
It's possible if he's well trained.
Can you train a cat not to claw, not to urinate?
Yeah, you can train a cat.
I think
to do
so. What do you think?
I agree. I think that you could get like a scratching post or some catnip. I don't know.
Really? Okay.
It'll work.
What do you think?
I think it is possible. I don't know if you can train a cat, but I think it's possible that it may not scratch a curtain or a couch.
More possible than I could play in the NBA?
It is possible. Muggsy Bogues played in the NBA.
Okay. Going inside the courtroom.
These are pictures that the landlord takes after she leaves, and it's disgusting. So what is, you're like chicken necking there about how unfair all this is, and I'm trying to figure it out. I don't know why you're doing that, because I have no idea how this could be defensible to leave a place looking like this.
We weren't arguing that the rug had to be cleaned. It's
What
just
about the
that
rest of it? Who's responsible for the toilet being filthy and repulsive?
we had no running
weren't
water
in
to
the
clean.
toilet.
We cleaned everything with Clorox cleanup and Windex because there was no running water.
How could you have cleaned anything? I'm looking at it. It's disgusting, filthy.
There was
the floors are
mold.
filthy. What did you clean?
This apartment was closed up for over 3 months.
Okay, that's fine.
And
But
it was
you're
wet.
testifying. See, you don't
It was wet
understand.
inside.
If you tell me, look, Judge, we couldn't clean there because it was a wreck after the hurricane, then he just testifies that's not true. This one wasn't hurricane affected, whatever. But when I'm
He's
looking at
wrong,
grease,
though.
the hurricane did not deposit grease on the stove, and you could have cleaned that, and it had nothing to do with not being able to clean that.
I tell
but you didn't clean that, and then you're telling me how unfair it is.
He said there was no water. When she took
You don't
out
need water to
stuff-
clean that.
If it was a normal circumstance, if I was renting an
Everything
apartment and
should have been
moving
torn
out,
up.
All right. Why are you suing for an $837 cleaning fee when you didn't pay an $837 cleaning fee?
Well, when she had the audacity to try to get the $658 back, I said, well, now I think it's time for you to pay me for all the work. It took a week to clean the
Okay,
apartment.
don't look at her. Look at me.
It took a week to clean this apartment to get it into a condition that I could start painting it.
Did you claim hurricane damage to this apartment on your insurance?
No, there was no damage.
The difficulty in the proof, Your Honor, is that by the time you got back in to inspect your apartment, the water was dried up.
Where the closet was.
But what I'm looking at is garden variety disgusting filth that isn't hurricane damage. Okay?
there was no water. I didn't even think of the carpet because it had to be replaced. All of Seaside, every single
You signed a
home.
lease that said that that everything that you got was all inspected and that everything was in good condition, right? That's what your lease that you signed says.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can my brother give you a letter from?
See, we had a
we have a person.
We had periodically.
We have a person that comes in quarterly to spray all the apartments for bugs, and this person who works for this company wrote us a letter, and we had it.
About what, the condition of the apartment?
The way, the problem is the way the person keeps the apartment. You understand? Because in other words, the apartment didn't get that way because she was not there for a couple of months. It's
I
how
service this address on a quarterly basis. It was difficult to service this apartment due to the stench of cat urine that was impregnated into the carpets and floors and the clutter in the apartment. The bathroom was covered with cat litter and cat feces on the bathroom floor that overflowed from the cat litter box found in the bathroom. This was the condition of the apartment every time I serviced the apartment. Gotcha. All right.
Mm-hmm.
As for your lawsuit against them for the $658.84, it is very clear to me that this carpet was trashed by your pet and by whatever way you lived there for how long?
About 3 years.
3 years. I find that they have a right to keep the $658.84. The problem that you have is that now they also have a counterclaim against you for more money, which the law in your state allows them to do. All right. I am going to allow you an additional $200 in cleaning fee for a net judgment in favor of the defendants in this case in the amount of $200. That is my judgment.
Both sides hold on right.
Well, the decision goes on the defendant's side, even part of the countersuit. What's your
Very
thought coming out?
disappointed, but at least I
What?
never have to see them again.
Mm-hmm. Well,
They're shysters.
you saw the rug that was in there, and the testimony about. They said that your apartment was one of the filthiest that they've ever dealt with.
It's bull. It wasn't like that.
No?
I'm sure they knew somebody to write that letter to back them up. They're good. What can I tell you?
We weren't able to make it clear enough to the many.
All right. We're out of time here, so you just head
Thank
right
you.
down this way. All right. Thank you very much. So step on in here. Are you satisfied with how this comes out for you?
I'm not satisfied. I don't know how he feels about it.
He's not. How about you? You satisfied?
I'm satisfied because at least the tenant, the former tenant, realizes the damage that she caused, and perhaps her friends would realize it, and perhaps the rest of the country would see what she does to apartments.
Harvey?
You know, you need to know this, that when you file a lawsuit, the other side always has the right to file a countersuit, and you could end up losing a lot of money if things don't go your way, which is something to consider when you file your lawsuit. Think about what's on the line. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.